right, let's see here. Let's see if we got everything taken care of. Let's see what we got going on. It's your boy, Brother Ron from the Daily Smoke. Coming to you all live on this Taboo Tuesday and in typical black fashion. About 15 minutes late. Sorry about that. Yo. Oh shit, I guess we are live. Oh, that's what's up. Everything good on the sound? Okay. All right, and on my computer, all I need now is to see me. All right. So, Brother Lowe's, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you, man. I know we only got me and you here, or what have you, but that's all good. We're gonna give them a couple of minutes. Maybe they'll come, maybe they won't, but we're gonna still do this broadcast. I'm looking at my phone. I'm so stupid. We're gonna still do this broadcast. I promise you that one, man. This has been way too long. We should have done this. Oh, we got somebody else that just came in. Thank you, whomever you are. Thank you so much. Thank you. Whomever you are that just came in, don't feel free to make sure give us a name and where you're coming from, man. We'd love to hear from you. Absolutely, we would love to hear from you. And people should have gotten received the. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna share the link. But also, I don't expect a big crowd tonight, if you want to call it that, or attendance, because usually Tuesday nights they got like Bible study now. Don't nobody beat the black church on no Tuesday or Wednesday. Even football stay on Mondays and Thursdays. Oh yeah, yes indeed. Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. Leave them Tuesdays and Wednesdays alone, boy. Ain't nobody beating NFL in America. Indeed. We are live. Give me 1 second. I'm not gonna keep everybody. We're gonna just we're gonna be brief. We're gonna hit it to the point. We're gonna be up out of here because we need to talk about this. This is very important. All right, let's see who's up in here now. And if you're in here, go ahead and hit that. That's what's up. One watching, I'll take it. That's Brother Lowe's. I'll take it. I will take it for real. We're gonna start somewhere. I promise you that one. We're gonna start somewhere. Yeah, man. So, Ghost, since it's just me and you right now, we can talk about what we want to talk about until the people come or whatever. Hey, man, did you hear about the Wagner group, that group over in Russia that did that attempted the coup? Did you hear about what happened? I know it's probably a delay. You say you're watching an inopportune version of Taboo Tuesday. That's right. You're watching an inopportune version of Taboo Tuesday with Brother Ron finally finishing the Hitler topic. Absolutely. My Lord. Oh, we got someone else in. Thank you for coming in and watching, whomever you are. Let us know who you are and where you're signing in from. We'd love to hear from you and everything. Absolutely. And Brother Ghost, if you can, at the bottom of the screen, put the phone number so that way anyone that comes in or, just periodically, anyone that come in, if they want to call in and talk to me, give them my number. I'll talk to them on my phone. Give them my number. And let me put my number up there. Yeah. You say you sitting up here talking to me. That's what's up, brother. What's up, big brother? That's how tight we are, big bro. So let me go ahead and do this number. Put my number in there. My brother talking to me through the screen. That's when it's real. And shit, Los, it could just be me and you, man. I ain't tripping. You know how me and you already talk anyway. We ain't gonna make it special. Shit, and that's my number. Whomever just came in, if you want to call in and talk to us, or ask a question, or give a response, or say I'm just full of shit, call in at 346-253-5340. Call us in directly. That way, we ain't waking up everybody else. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you. I'd like to talk to you personally. I really would. I would love to hear from you, whomever you may be. Absolutely. Yeah, so Brother Lowe's, did you see about what happened in Russia, man? Follow me. The dude that gave this information made a really interesting point. He said, hey man, have you ever seen a movie where your mind was made up? Stupid. You silly. Where your mind was, you was figuring out what happened as the movie gets closer towards the end. And the director or editor is only giving you select pieces of information, so you're building up an idea of what's going to happen at the end. But when they show you some information at the end, you realize that everything else you thought before was off, because the new information you have changed everything. Check it out. I'm sorry, give me 1 second, everybody. I'm sorry, I got to put you on hold. Thank you. Give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. All right. So, that's interesting to remember. We got 3 people still. Yeah, it's interesting to remember. Like, the information you get, man, at the end changes everything that you thought about during the beginning. But the way that you was thinking since the beginning was totally against everything that you just learned from this small piece of information. He said, check it out how it worked out in this Ukraine-Russian war. It's beautiful. And it actually leads to the point of what we're going to talk about tonight regarding persuasion. The dude said, and I cite my sources, and this is not from me. Bo of the Fifth Column said, hey man, the information we was originally given said there was a private contractor in Russia that worked for Putin throughout Africa, other areas, and was now in the Ukraine helping the Russian army against the Ukrainians. Over the last couple of months, the news has been telling us this guy's had a real problem with Putin because Russia hasn't been giving them supplies, giving them ammunition, protective body wear, what have you, that, kind of like what happened to the American army during the Afghanistan war. And, a lot of our kids was coming home and they would get hit with IEDs and they would be missing a leg, but someone that worked for Blackwater, they had more money and they worked for the same government, but because they was able to get paid a hell of a lot more money under a private organization versus if they did the same thing in the army, it was kind of like, well, damn, why the hell am I in the army? Why not just go and be a damn, private contractor? Okay. That's what this group was, or is, soon to be was, in Russia. So they also said the dude had been having issues with Putin, and he was saying like, man, something ain't right. I need to talk to Putin. And so all of a sudden, about 201 Wagner operatives, or soldiers, if you will. The name of the company is Wagner. That's the private company that works for, Russia. That's the largest one. Wagner. Oh, we got 5 people watching. Thank you all for watching. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you all for watching. We're going to get to it, I promise. Kevin, thank you, my brother. Thank you. I'm just not seeing your response. Thank you so much, Kevin. God bless you, man. I love you, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. So Here we go, and everyone else that is watching, I appreciate you because you could be doing different things right now. We're gonna have a real conversation tonight. So Wagner says, or the head of Wagner says, man, we just lost 201 soldiers from an explosion, a missile hit, whatever the case may be. And yes, sir, much love for your support, all of y'all. Thank you all. And man, he says, we just got hit and lost 201 soldiers. I suspect that Russia was behind it because I've been beefing with his head of his head of defense. Me and him don't get along. Your boy did something stupid, blew up 201 of my men. And you ain't been feeding us nor giving us the weapons and the ammunition we've needed to carry out this objective that you started. No word from Moscow. These bastards turned around on Saturday, started marching towards Moscow. The head of Wagner starts going public saying, hey y'all, in about 24 hours, we're gonna have a new Russian government. We're gonna have a new Russian head. Not Russian government, we're gonna have a new Russian head. He's bragging about what Wagner is about to do. Now, in terms of sheer numbers, they don't stand a chance. But Wagner's soldiers are way more experienced than 3/4 of Russia's army. So for every one you kill of them, they probably been taking out 3 of you. And over time, that's going to start to weaken you. While NATO's sitting there licking their chops. Can't wait. You say, hey man, we lost 201 soldiers or something like that. I may be off. And I think it was your boy. Putin say, man, I have no idea what you're talking about, dog. He say, hey man, look, something went down. 201 of my soldiers was lost. And I've been trying to talk to you for the last couple of months. And you've been ignoring our hells for, extra ammunition, weapons, whatever the case may be, rations, you name it. Putin, I don't know what you're talking about, man. Okay. 24 hours, we're gonna have a new Russian president. All of a sudden, Wagner stops. Give me 1 second, brothers, sisters. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Stop my food. Yes. All right. So, I'm sorry, I'm cooking dinner. That's how we do these days, grown-ups. So, I don't know what you're talking about. You say, okay, we're going to have us a new leader. This is all real, by the way. This is not Brother Ron talking. Man, this dude gets about 200 kilometers outside of Moscow. We waiting for the Civil War. It's about to happen in Russia. All of a sudden, the head of Wagner does an about face. For those of you that don't know what that means, a 180. The next thing we heard from him, he talking big shit now. Next thing we heard from him, if we keep going to Moscow, it's going to be too much bloodshed. I'm commanding all of my members, contractors, go back to the war in Ukraine. Throughout the entire world, again, I'm going to say this one more time. This is not me talking. Go look at the news that's been published across the world on YouTube. Look at the replays and start about 4 days ago and just watch them. This is not me talking. The entire world is trying to figure out, man, what the hell just happened? Okay. Here's why you can't always believe what you read and what you see. Here's what happened. What I just told you and what they told us throughout the world, that was not what happened. That's what happened. If you're saying in terms of the chain of events, did Wagner turn around and go towards Moscow? Yes. Did they have the intent on taking over Moscow? According to what they said, all day, all night, Saturday up to early Sunday morning? Yes. Did 201 of their soldiers die? Yes. Did, with everything I just said, did that happen? Yes. But that's not what happened. Now, if you're finding yourself struggling with what I'm saying to you right now, you're probably going to have a hard time the rest of this conversation when we start talking about Hitler. Because it's requiring you to do the same type of thinking. What you saw happened. But why what you saw happen is not what they told you. Here's what happened. Thank you, boy, with the fifth call. And then we're going to get into our conversation. For about the last 6 months, all YouTube have been talking about is these Wagner operatives, all 25,000 of them. Man, they pose a serious threat, et cetera, et cetera. Putin using them, whatever. And then you start hearing dissension between the head of Wagner and Putin. Now, mind you, this organization Wagner, that's his Praetorian Guard, if you will, if you could think of what that group represented. Like they're even deeper than Secret Service or like special operatives. Like either once you get through Putin's army, now you have to deal with them. Like, because they're gonna protect him. They turned on him. That's who we're talking about. About the last 6 months, the head of the dude that run that organization been beefing with Putin. Everybody's like, man, what's going on with him? Right. So everyone, like everything that's going on with him, like they beefing. Why they beefing? Everybody asking, man, what's going on with Putin? This is the rest of the world. I need you to hear me carefully, and I'm gonna say it one more time. This is not me talking. Hey, man, Putin and this dude head of Wagner beefing. We suspect, man, it might be a problem on the inside of Russia. Around May 15th, 2 drones flew over the Kremlin, which is it's the equivalent of the United States White House. It's the equivalent. Flew over that joker, blew up, knocked out one of the areas of the Kremlin. It was clearly an assassination attempt against Putin. Moscow go, this is on May 15th. Now, mind you, for the last 6 months, he's still beefing with this dude from Wagner. But they still killing, he's still whining, he still got the war going. Okay. When the drone went off, and you saw it in the news for yourself, people started saying, hey, man, or at least the world, the news reporting agencies of the world, because I'm not in Nigeria and you ain't either. So we have to go by their word. Throughout the world, they kept saying, man, I wonder what's going on in Russia. Because, I think they may have a civil war or they may have an uprising or something. Because the people are not in agreement with how Putin has been saying, man, if you like 16, 18 years of age, all the way up to like about 45 or 50, and you go into the army, something like that. And they pulling people out of prison, and Putin saying, if people try and get out of Russia, like you try to leave Russia, we're going to give you 25 years hard labor in Siberia somewhere. So like the people are dissatisfied with Putin. This is our news. Man, they're thinking there's going to be an uprising. And then all of a sudden, 201 soldiers from Wagner were killed, and Russia was behind it. Here's the killing part. Y'all ready? That's why you have to be careful, because that's exactly what we're going to talk about tonight. When the bomb or assault on the 200 and some odd Wagner members occurred. That occurred at a time when Putin found out that there is an insurrection or a mutiny or a coup de grace occurring within Wagner because they don't like the way the war has been going. And Putin is sending a message to the Wagner Corporation, who has been seen as a credible threat against the nation state of Russia. I'm not playing. 201 members were killed. Now, Putin didn't say, I did it. His head of staff did. Which is why the head of Wagner was beefing with him even before. But that was a message saying, hey man, I'm the number 2 man. We've been getting word through like the KGB or whatever you want to call it, that you all are planning an insurrection. And we have credible sources because Spetsnaz and all them dudes, we know that's what y'all planning. We finna send a message to you, 201. When we're seeing the head of Wagner talking about a new change of a head in Russia, he's not responding from the position that, man, we just got 201 people killed innocently in my company. He's responding from the position, you just killed 201 of my men. It's on. And there was a conversation between the two of them on some level, to the degree where the next thing we heard, that same dude said about face, go to the Ukraine. Too much bloodshed if we keep marching towards Russia. The reason we know that's the story, here's the rub. This is not Ron talking for the last time. Just yesterday, America went public and said, the intelligence community went public and said, he ain't lying. Everything that he's saying about Wagner attacking them, we knew there was going to be we knew exactly he's going to lose all his men. Exactly. We knew that what Putin is saying is true because we knew 3 weeks ago there was going to be a coup de grace, which means the whole story I started this session out with, it couldn't have been based on his 201 men getting blown up and he had no idea why. Because the United States intelligence community is confirming what Putin is saying and what he's responding to, because they both said there's about to be an insurrection. A coup de grace. That's why Putin responded the way he did. That was a very long story, but here's the deal. Why did I say that story to you? Because everything that we're about to talk about now is in large part connected to what we just said. I asked Well, before we get into our subject matter, first and foremost, thanks be to God for this show. Thank you so much, and thank you so much, Brother Los, for making this show go down this afternoon, man. Because I had no idea how to set up my computer. You did it remotely and you did it fast, man. Thank you so much. God bless. Thank you, brother. I want to give thanks to like the team that I'm blessed to be around: Bobby, Los, Danessa, Tiffany, Dwight, LaDonna. Man, I'm really proud and glad to be in your circle. I'm glad to be with you. We are all one group. We're one. And I really thank you all for being on our side because we're on your side. I really mean that. Thank you for believing in us. This is not something easy that we do, but it is something that we believe in so much. We put our names on the line for it. Which is why there are other things I could be doing right now, but I'm talking to these five other individuals that thought enough to watch us live, not me, but us live this evening. Because I pray that Bobby and Los are with me, God be with me, because I am nervous, but this was too important of a subject to just let pass by. And this subject would not be possible without banging 832 Radio. Banging, www.banging832radio. Check us out every Sunday. We're on at 7 p.m. Banging 832 hosts all of our reruns or our previous broadcasts that we had, and we really appreciate everything that you do for us. Thank you so much, Banging 832. Brother Michael McCorn, whether you watching us now or not watching, we know that you keeping your word to us because we see every Sunday at 7 p.m., man. You're putting us out there. Thank you so much. We wish nothing but good things for you all. Man, next up we got Tamia's Care Massage Therapy. To get with life, get with a massage. Touch my body. I could hear the boom. I could hear it. Tamia's Touch of Care Massage Therapy. She really believes in what she does. She treats you with the utmost professionalism and respect. Tamia, we got number love for you. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey that we're going on as well. And we cannot start any show without letting you know how much we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Go to www.tamiaanderson.com. Black people love great, and then strawberry. And then next up, we have the Buy Black Marketplace, the ultimate pop-up experience, every first and third Saturday from, I believe, 12 p.m. to 5 or 6 p.m. Rakita's in here. Oh, man, they are. I'll get to y'all, Rakita. So, yeah, every first and third Saturday, the Buy Black Marketplace, the ultimate pop-up experience, would go on from 12 p.m. to, I believe, 5 or 6 p.m. every first and third Saturday. Please go out there, support them. If you have something you want to put, before you put out to market and you want to try to, see how it does in the test trials or what have you, hey, man, everybody else then practiced on black people. Why not you? Go over to the Shrine of the Black Madonna, put your product out there and see what you can do. You know what I mean? We're loving people. We're trying anybody. You know what I'm saying? We all believe you all got our best intentions. You know what I mean? And absolutely. Oh, that's my cousin. That's what's up. Love that dude. Yeah, man. What's up? Oh, so yeah, man. So go out there and try it. Put your product out to market. Get a feedback on how well it is, and if it's not, maybe up to par, that, they're letting you know. Black people, we honest. We'll tell you the truth. So every first and third Saturday, please go to the Buy Black Marketplace at the Shrine of the Black Madonna. I don't remember the address right now, but please just look up the Shrine of the Black Madonna. They'll give you all the information you need. And then after that, we have Puff Pass It, CBD and more. Tanya Ashley, our gratitude for everything that you do whenever you support us, make us feel welcome and at home. We owe you immensely. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, I do not remember the address offhand. And Brother Los, Brother Bob, if you're in the house, check it out, man. Please put Tanya Ashley's address. It's also the shrine if you can. If you can. But if you can't, cool. Get Tanya Ashley's address up on the wall. That way people can still go out and support her at Puff Passes CBD and more. And if you'd like to get to know her better, hey, just check out one of our previous episodes. We did an interview with her. She graced us with her presence, came out and hung out with us. And it was a really good show. And I was so impressed by how comfortable she was with us, which made us even feel more comfortable with her. And it was transactional. It just kept going back and forth, you know. Thank you so much, Tanya. We love you dearly, sweetie. And last but not least, let me start off right. I'm going to go get a drink. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'll be right back. I promise. Whew. Lord, that's good. All right. Okay, I'm coming back, man. I'm coming back. I know that's getting on, but we're going to get to the knowledge. I promise. We're going to get to the knowledge. We're going to get to it. I promise, y'all. Just stick with me. Shit. 6 of you. Yeah, if you just came in, lucky you. All right, so yeah, I forgot where I was, but yeah, thank you, Tanya Ashley. Thank you so much. We really mean that. Thank you so much. Yeah, and last but not least, us. Hey, man. So now I get a chance to talk about us before I go into the subject matter. Hey, man, I'm just a nerd. I'm a shy nerd. I really am. And I have been blessed to be around a group of people that really believe in me and that I believe in them. And this group of people where we all believe in each other, we all decided, hey, man, let's make this legit. Let's make something possible. And, you know, as we began to go through our bumps and our trials and errors and, you know, experimenting with stuff or what have you, some stuff was stupid, some wasn't, you know, okay, cool. What I'm really happy about the Daily Smoke is we are affiliated and meeting people that we never, ever would have met had it not been for this platform. And it is for that very reason why this platform is represented and built by all of us. You may see Ron, you may see Bobby, you may see Brother Los, you may see Tiffany, you may see Danessa, you may see Brother Dwight, you may see Sister LaDonna independently. But all of us have been in a room together at one point in time in all of our lives because we said, hey man, we really like what we got going on here. I think we could make something bigger than ourselves. And all of the people that we really believed in us and said, hell yeah, let's do it. Case in point, thank you so much for your night tonight, Tiffany. Taboo Tuesday. Thank you so much. We are surrounded by talent. No success of this platform can be credited in any form or fashion other than all of us as a whole. And I mean that with all of my heart. Because if one particular link in the chain is not connecting, the entire chain will fall apart. I really mean that. We are all interdependent. And I'm so glad to be a part of that group. Thank you all so much. I love each and every one of you, and I love each and every one of your families that make the sacrifice. All of your families that make the sacrifice and take time away from so you can be with us. Your time is valuable and precious. We will always respect it. We will not waste it with nonsense, which is why we're having the show tonight. Come to the Daily Smoke, www.thedailysmoke.com, THA dailysmoke.com. We're going to get back to making new episodes that are coming up, and we're going to have AK with us next week. He's going to be our guest, so I'm pretty sure he's going to have something that he's going to want to, educate us about regarding real estate or how to make your money work for you instead of you working for your money, that kind of stuff. Hey man, God bless him, man. I believe one day down the line, Danessa and himself are going to do a collaboration, or at least he's going to be a panelist on her financial wellness what is it called? Financial Wellness Workshop. So hopefully we'll see you there, which I'm sure we will. And thank you so much, AK, for being willing to come on next week and see us. But yeah, you better check out when new guests are going to be on. If you want to be a guest, go to the website and hit the button that says Step in the Arena. As you saw from last night, step in the arena. Anything you want to talk about that, you really feel this way, but you can't talk to your friends about it because they might look at you kind of funny. Come to us. You really have this conviction, even if we don't agree. That is not a requisite. Agreement is not a requisite. As a matter of fact, disagreement is encouraged. You just have to stand behind what you know. But disagreement is encouraged, because then if your disagreement is genuine, the end equation is that's their perception and reality. This is my perception and reality. And neither of the two are more validated in and of themselves, because it's still subjective. Now we can learn. Okay, I'll say it a different way. Hey man, we don't know what the hell going on. You don't either. It's just best guesses. But you have certain beliefs about the world and life. And if that's how you really feel, we would love to hear from you. Now, if it's BS, no need to apply, don't bother. But if it's something that you really feel convicted about, then we will give you the platform to talk about it, but in a respectful manner. We're going to ask you questions. And we hope you don't get offended, because that is not our intention. Thank you, Brother Kevin. Thank you. Thank you. That's not our intention to offend you. Come to thedaythesmoke.com. Go to Step in the Arena if you want to be a guest. If you want to just let us know how we're doing, have you ever been experienced, anything like that, go to our website. Let us know how we're doing. If you think it sucks, fine, that's cool. We ain't tripping. If you think we're doing a good job, fine, that's cool. We still ain't tripping. You know what I mean? Because we're going to still keep doing what we're doing. Which brings me to the point. Here we go, y'all. Here we go. For the last 3 weeks, we've been trying to have this conversation about Hitler. We made it explicitly clear. We do not agree or condone anything that man stood for, or anyone that believes in him and his racist ideology. And it wasn't just racist. He had an issue against people that were homosexuals. He had an issue with people that were born artistic. And he would put them all in the oven just the same. So don't make this a war about Jews. This was a war against humanity. We don't stand for him. We don't stand for anything that he did. However, there is something to be said for his accomplishments. Now, before I go into that subject, I got to throw out another disclaimer. I threw out the disclaimer in the first episode. It didn't work. We threw out the disclaimer in the second episode, didn't you, Brother Lowe's? It didn't work. This is going to be the last one. As I am talking about everything that we have been trying to talk about for a total 4.5 hours over the last 2 or 3 episodes, we're going to try it again. Please divorce yourself from your emotional response to what we're about to talk about. In terms of that formulating, yeah, I'm hitting the cognac, come blow that smoke out of your chest, absolutely. In terms of what we're talking about, divorce those emotions from your ability to think rationally. I never said the emotions were invalid. I never said the emotions weren't warranted. What I am asking of you, divorce yourself of allowing your emotions to dictate your reasoning ability, your rationality. The reason why I'm asking that is because just go look at the last two episodes. We got no further towards this conversation than we started 2 weeks ago in 3.5 hours of our lives. Because what I'm going to talk about, even if you have an emotional response, don't allow it to affect your rational thinking, because it is by the means of rational thinking we are still being manipulated. And this has not just started with Trump. This was not weaponized under Obama. This ain't nothing new that Bill Clinton himself couldn't testify to. Matter of fact, it's going to show you how easily manipulated you are. That's the point. All right. Now, if you all indulge me for the next 30 minutes, I promise I'll do my best not to waste your time. I am nervous. I am nervous. But arguing with the members that we had on our show, which is what you have a right to do, argue with us on our show. We ain't tripping at all. But I think in doing so, people that really wanted to hear the point, they were not served. So please, if you can, you're more than welcome to call in to me directly, 346-253-5348. And I'll put it on the phone. I'll put it on the chat board again. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. 346-253. Because we believe that learning is cumulative and it's inclusive. 5348. Call in and talk to me. Because there may be some things that I'm missing that you may feel is relevant and important. But what I'm not interested in arguing with you about Donald Trump, and I'm trying to talk to you about the brilliance of Hitler's evil genius. You had that last night, and you had that the show before that. I'm not arguing with nobody tonight. Either you believe it or you don't. If you don't, good for you. Just back that shit up. If you do believe it, hey man, I'm not here to hurt you, I'm here to help you. Hitler is one of the most, for all the attention that he's been given, he's one of the most underrated individuals in history. During our previous episode, we talked about how we talked about why Hitler felt the way he felt. And I'm not going to go through that whole thing. Like I said, you guys give me 30 minutes of your time, and I'm going to take advantage of every moment. But a long story short, if you want to hear more on it, please go back and look at the previous episodes. Hitler was not feeling it when the rest of the world was putting the cost of World War I onto the shoulders of the shoulders of the German people in particular. And the German people were in a deep depression, very, very deep depression. Imagine that, right? In the 1930s, like you in depression in the 30s, you in a real depression. But they were in a depression, and they were kind of like, if you really think about it, they were kind of like a people from a fallen sense of glory, almost like how the Bible records the Jewish people. The whole point of them getting back to Jerusalem was that they wanted to obtain that same level of glory of what the Bible records as what they experienced. The Jews, man, I'm sorry, the Germans prior to World War One, they had a pretty good history. And then when One hit, they were decimated. So now at this point, you have a conquering people on their knees. And there comes along a man named Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler was a failed artist. Adolf Hitler didn't do pretty much anything right for a very long time in his life. And then all of a sudden, Hitler is now chancellor, not the, whatever they call it in German. If you speak German or you know German, because I don't remember it too much anymore. Yeah, like whatever they call that premier prime, prime whatever. They literally like went from having everything to going to nothing. And when I say nothing, and the only reason I'm painting this picture for your imagination is because I want you to understand how he got to where he got. And I'm not having this conversation with you to give you a history lesson. I'm giving you this as a basis of a platform of why what we've seen in recent history in America has occurred. Hey man, it was like a perfect storm. The people were poor. They were decimated. The heroes betrayed them with the Treaty of Versailles. And Hitler really believed this. He was like, hey man, this is how he started his conversation up. Hey man, the German people, we come from a long, rich history. And where we are right now, because I don't feel like we should be in this position in terms of geopolitics. And I think if we do X, Y, and Z, and we really understand who we are as a nation, as a people, I don't think banana flavored finger, no doubt. I don't think we should be in this position. That's all he was doing. He wasn't selling shit. He wasn't selling himself as premier. He was not selling himself as the president. Nothing. He was just saying, hey man, we're better than this. And our history stands to prove it. And he goes around and he starts talking to people. And Hitler does this by himself. He starts talking to so many people that the people in Austria are getting concerned because this older cat that used to be a World War I veteran, he's starting to now take hold of the minds of the youth. I hope you're listening to what I'm saying. He's taking hold of the minds of the youth. He's changing our society in front of us. And by the way, it's not like he's lying. But he had a problem. Let's go take the government. Why the government? He could have ran to the church. He ran to the government. Because now, if I can convince your government or put individuals in your government that have the same way of thinking as Hitler has, then now what you just did was you just put a virus into the system and it's about to spread. Or you put something that could be communicable, like a communicable disease that can be spread. You're about to put something out there that's going to take hold. It was his way of thinking and seeing the Jewish people. The German people. It's not hard for them to grab a hold to this. They're already beaten. They're already poor. They're already starving. He's taking advantage of the situation. But he's taking advantage of the situation from a position that I'm one of you. And the only difference between me and you, most of you, is World War One. And those of you that were in World War One with me, stop me when I'm lying. This is how Hitler is talking to the people in the early 1930s. So much and getting the young kids riled up, the SS, which, by the way, if you watch Star Wars, you know, like if you look at the stormtroopers, what's his name? The dude from George Lucas has gone on record to say, hey man, I got that from World War II. And that's why if you look at the stormtroopers' outfits, that's why they look that way. And that's why, notice how Star Wars tugs at our archetypal strings, because we can identify with those symbols. But anyway, he started making sense to the kids, the stormtroopers. They started having the badges on their shoulders, on their arms. Started getting attention to the point where it was either the Austrian or German government said, hey man, cut that shit out. And we're gonna throw you in jail. And that's what they did. You're already beaten. You threw this man in jail, and from jail he writes Mein Kampf. Mein Kampf is a racist piece of literature. But I would invite you to read it. Because if you read it, you will see how far in advance Hitler was thinking in terms of controlling people, or persuading, that's a better word, persuading people. Mein Kampf. If you and I were sitting on the beach and we're reading a book, Mein Kampf, the first thing people are going to do is have an emotional reaction, which is what I asked you to divorce yourself from. Because the first thing you're going to do, oh yeah, man, this village where it's at, man. I love it. I go places when I look at that village. I don't know if it's Spanish or Italian, Brother Los. I don't. But yeah, man, that shit could be in Puerto Rico. We don't know her Los. So, my brother. So, damn, I forgot my point. They throw him in jail. He writes Mein Kampf. We're sitting on the beach and we're reading Mein Kampf. A person walking by knowing what, Germany and the history and all that, they're like, why are you reading Mein Kampf? Especially, don't just have a bald head like I have, or a closely hair, shaved head, and you're a white dude and you're reading Mein Kampf. They're going to automatically think that you are neo-Nazi. But what if you was reading that book and you weren't a legitimate neo-Nazi? You wanted to see, let's get into the mind and the thinking of Hitler. Oh my God, it's a brilliant piece of work to read. They throw him in jail. He writes Mein Kampf and gets many, many people after he got out of jail. And I think it's like 1 million copies or something, real quick, in a war-torn country. People started resonating with what he was saying in Mein Kampf. And if you and I read Mein Kampf right now, make no mistake about it, you're reading a racist piece of propaganda or literature. But he's telling you, he's showing you how to deal with people. Now, here we go. This is the meat of the story. Hitler was able to, after getting out of jail, was able to go from the prison to becoming a chancellor and having all full rights thereof, head of Germany, whatever, the Sieg Heil Hitler, whatever, whatever they call it, the Fuhrer. And you have to ask yourself, how did you start from the bottom and now you here? Like, I would love to hear Hitler's version of that rap song. That shit would be off the chain. Started from the bottom, now I'm here. Like, hey man, you in prison and now you running all this shit, Hey man, I want to hear his version. But he did something that few people have ever been able to accomplish. He went from the prison to the presidency. How did he do it? Now, let's stop the story for a minute. I asked you all before we start this conversation, divorce yourself of the emotions. I never said that he was a good president. I never said he was a good person. I never said he was anything to be admired, but I am talking about and highlighting his accomplishments before the very first German was killed. He had a plan. And that plan is the reason why I'm having this conversation with you all this afternoon, this evening, because you're playing into it and you don't even know it. He goes from the prison to the presidency. You have to ask yourself, Adolf Hitler, how the hell did you do it? And if you listen to most people, Germans, I used to date a chick from Austria. I met her mom, and her mom used to tell me things that her mom had said. And the one thing that they all had in common was they was like, he was such an eloquent speaker. That was not by accident. That was not by accident. And as a result of that, he was able to subdue, enthrall, seduce the mind of the German Austrian people. How did he do it? Before I get to that, here's what I want to say. What we're about to talk about now is what I have been trying to talk to you all since 2 weeks ago. I'm not sitting up here talking to you about Hitler because I think you should know German history. I don't give a fuck about German history. I'm a stolen African. Why would I care? Because he did something that politicians, at the very least, continue to do, and you have no idea. And if you have an idea, don't lie. You haven't exercised this way of thinking. Hitler, becoming the eloquent speaker that he is, he learned or knew to get any group of people to do anything you want to do. You don't have to be the son of Satan. You don't have to be this really, really smart, brilliant individual that can enthrall the audience with the eloquence of speech and pontification. Keep that shit simple. Because I'm finna piss y'all off. Because Hitler understood. I see we lost the viewer. We ain't tripping. Hitler understood. If you say anything enough, long enough, often enough, even if it's not true, they'll believe it. You may ask, well, why would they believe it? Because persuasion usually speaks to the least common denominator. The least common denominator meaning the masses. Hey everybody, the masses have never been a smart group. Never. Let's get that out the way. Don't care how much you disagree with me, and that's your right. I'll argue it every day. The masses of anything. An ant, a butterfly, a bat, a dolphin, a whale, you name it. The masses, a human, the masses are always dumb. So whenever y'all hear young people talk to y'all, say they call you sheep or sheep thinking, exactly. The brother says sheep are dumb, sheep need a shepherd, exactly. Thank you, Brother Dwight. God bless you and thank you for watching. The masses have always been dumb. And usually, on a side note, let me get back to the point, usually the person or group of people that come to liberate the masses from their slavery are usually killed by the masses. That's how deep their stupidity runs. Being manipulated. That's how deep it runs. So I want you to know, if you in the business like me and Brother Los and Brother Hood are, and everyone else on this platform, Brother Dwight, Sister Danessa, Sister Tiffany, Sister LaDonna, or what have you, if you interested in liberating people's minds, I just want you to know, it's a long, lonely walk. But get used to it. If you can't get used to it or overcome it, get the hell out the arena. You don't belong here. Because that's what it's going to take to liberate our people. When I say our people, I ain't talking about men. I'm not talking about middle-aged black men. I'm not talking about people that are American. I'm talking about freeing your thinking. That's why I'm having this conversation on a one-to-one basis with you right now from my heart. The masses Hitler knew. You can always count on them. Count on them to be done. Because the masses correspond to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's more of them. So it's going to take more resources to sustain them to remain alive. It's going to require more resources to keep them alive, which means there's a need or a necessity for human energy. That human energy now can be converted, or it can now be transferred to capital because it's more of them. So you make more money by hiring the computer engineer for $100,000 a year, or do you make more money by hiring 5 of these untrained individuals for $20,000 a year? You're going to lose in just sheer numbers when it comes to human output doing the same task. But anyway, Hitler knew that if I can speak to the group and the group is dumb, they are. If they're not, Dwight would have 200 individuals watching his show. If the masses weren't dumb, Dwight, Build Your Own Brain brand, would have he would have more people than this platform can handle. He'd be like, hey man, I'm gonna have to see y'all later. I gotta deal with these people over here. That's the volume we're talking about. Danessa, she would have all of her shows sold out if the masses weren't done. Tiffany, LaDonna, everyone would be tuned in, supporting everything that they're about and showing up where they are throughout the city, wherever they are, to support whatever cause they believe in, because these are enlightened individuals. We shouldn't have to be worrying about how to sell tickets. We should be trying to figure out, man, can we print more paper to put the tickets on to sell? The masses are dumb. Hitler figured it out. And because he figured it out, he spoke to our most banal basic needs. And one of our banal basic needs, next to hunger, shelter, we have this competitive nature in humans where it almost becomes self-destructive. But if you can harness that competitive nature from being inward, where I am turning this destructive component against myself, to pointing it outward, where they're the enemy, we're the chosen one, then you start seeing human ingenuity comes about. You start seeing human progress. It's messed up, but it's true. When we can identify ourselves as a group and identify them as a member of an out-group, we have an enemy. We have an objective. Because I can point to you and show you the problem. Even though the problem is here, they're the problem. They're dumb. They're not going to critically think it through. That's why so many Jews died in World War II under Hitler's hand. That's why slavery happened. The largest worst atrocity ever in human history. That's why it was able to occur. Because even though he was talking to people in power in England, even though he was talking to people in power in, in Amsterdam, because you were talking to people in power in Spain, because you were talking to people in power in Portugal, it didn't mean that they were above having no regard for human life. After all, we are dealing with 1500s, 1600s white folks' mind and thinking. It's not racist. It's just either you win or you lose. You die or you live. And we can't defend ourselves, so we out of here. And we can be used for labor. Oh yes, get them. Hey man. When you're able to control the masses like that, and the leaders are not necessarily above the masses or different from them. As a matter of fact, the leader plays on those commonalities to say, you know what? I'm just like you. Poor. Served this country. Been persecuted. I'm just like you. Even if you haven't, as a whole, or individually, even if you haven't experienced that, you can relate to it, because human suffering is human suffering. Every human can relate to human suffering because they've all undergone human suffering, which makes slavery so atrocious. But anyway, human suffering is human suffering. If you can make that connection to the people that you're trying to talk to, guess what? You got a friend now. That's what Hitler did. Hitler took advantage of the situation. He says, hey man, we're all poor and we come from this fallen, just like you, until you get the power. Exactly, Brother Los. Thank you. God bless you, Los. If you look at the people that are able to make that connection with the commoner, like the Bible say, walk with kings, but keep the commoner's touch. It's talking more about the commoner than the king, because there are more commoners than kings. Kings rule through tyranny and fear. Commoners rule through numbers. That's where that threat is, numbers. So that's why you always want to keep them pacified. Hey man, Hitler knew that early. He didn't get into art school. He survived World War I. He was a failure in every and single aspect of life you can think of. And by the way, his mother was Jewish. I'm not saying that his mother is a failure. I'm saying, look at the irony. Hitler rises to power. And everyone that you ask, how did it happen? Well, they're dead now. How did it happen? They'll tell you, he spoke so well. We didn't know what was going on in Germany. And when you look at all the scholars, the people that, Einstein's, Oppenheimer's, they're about to make a movie about him, about him in the bomb in about 2 months. You ought to check it out. It's going to be really cool. Everything that you see about, Germany, like, he was able to flip every preconceived notion so far upside down that now he became a terror to the world. How did he do it? There are two ways. I wouldn't care if you was a dog, a rat, a bat, a hippopotamus. I wouldn't care. If you speak a language and they understand the language and you can communicate with them, there are two basic ways to influence them. Hitler knew this. And as I began to explain to you how this happened, pay attention to the detail, because then we're going to talk about, that's how Trump won. But I couldn't get to this part of the conversation because our fellow guests they were willing to tear down the man. They're willing to tear down the man at the expense of what he was able to accomplish. There are two ways to influence anyone. They're called the central route and the peripheral route. And I'm going to be very narcissistic for a minute. I'm about to say something that's going to seem so basic to you that most of you pseudo academics, you're going to be like, oh, well, he ain't talking about nothing that I don't know about. I already knew that. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Stop lying. I was talking to my cousin Danny earlier today, and we had an agreement on something. You know what's the best thing a dummy can do? Listen and learn. By the way, everything I'm talking about, again, the number's on the screen. Please call in. I'd love to hear from you. Long as it's relative to this discussion, because if it ain't, I'm going to hang up on you. Hey, man, we both agreed, if you want to be a smart man, listen. It's not that I consider myself smart, but I do want you to know I pay very close attention to about 3 groups. I paid very close attention to old people when I was growing up, and I listened. I paid very close attention to white people when I was growing up, and I lived with them, around them, or what have you, and learned from them. And by the way, they are not evil people, but I did want to understand them. I paid attention. I shut up and I listened. I dated their daughters, the whole 9. Yeah. I have also done my best to, if the person isn't smarter than me, I can at least shut up long enough to listen to the new information they're about to give me. You're old and dumb, I get it. But I didn't know what you're talking about. And I want wisdom and to be smarter, so I'm going to shut up and listen. Couldn't get there the other night, nor a couple of nights before, because of that emotional reaction. You're having an emotional reaction to this whole conversation right now if you're not paying attention to the conversation. If you are paying attention to the conversation, here we go again. Thank you for tuning in. Much love. Thank you, brother. Absolutely. Just like you until I get, amen. There's central and there's peripheral. And if your nervous system is designed in such a certain way, this is how you interpret data from the external world. Let's start with peripheral. Let's start with central. If I want to influence you, let's say I don't know you at all. It's unfortunate. We lost another viewer, but that's okay. It's really okay. Because if we want to do it for money, we could have done other things. When you appeal to persuading someone, one of the ways that you would try to persuade them is through the peripheral method. The peripheral method is where, and you see this a lot in academia, I'm going to appeal to your ability to reason and logic. I may feel a certain way about Rodney King and him getting beat by all those officers on camcorder. That's my emotional reaction. But my rational thinking is, why would it take 7 men to take a baton each and beat the hell out of this man? That's what happened. But your response in terms of your emotions will be, that could have been my child. That could have been my husband. That could have been my son. That's your emotional reaction. Thank you so much, Joyce, for watching. Thank you so much. That could have been your emotional reaction but that says nothing to why would happen or what happened. That may be a cause, but that's not what happened. The logical reaction is, hey man, we find them guilty, not because of how this has occurred, but because it didn't take 7 men to do this to one individual. Whenever you find yourself talking with people and you're like, hey man, look, let's listen, let's reason, let's use our logic. Let's talk about what happened. I want to say that there are times when you can be very logical and people will not receive what you're saying. That's because they disagree with your logic. That's where science comes into play. If I can disagree with your logic or your philosophy or your way of thinking, then I can find holes in your way of thinking because it doesn't make logical sense, even though the emotional response is there. It just doesn't make logical sense. I'm sorry, you all, I'm distracted. I do apologize. It is important to make sure you remember and understand why that mode of thinking is important, because that is absent and void of any emotion you may have that you feel would lead to the outcome you're looking for. Meaning, stay clear-minded, stay clear-headed. Make sure you stay focused on what the issue is, because that's what's going to stand in a court of law. That's what's going to stand as true. That's what's going to stand as what happened. But if you keep relating to your emotions, you're not going to be able to accomplish the larger goal. But make no mistake, the emotion is necessary for the motivation to follow the goal. Does that make sense? Okay. The second way that you can influence someone is called the peripheral method. The peripheral method is this. You're poor? Me too. Are you a woman and battered? Me too. Are you a man that's been emasculated? Me too. Has your country been taken away from you? Me too. Has your religion been encroached upon? Me too. When you do that, everything that you're saying is you're getting an emotional attachment or reaction from the people that you're talking to. I'm sorry, guys. I might have to ask you all to give me just 1 second. Please, just give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Please stop. Please. Please. The peripheral method is where I don't have to have any basis in reality. All I have to do is tug at your heartstrings. If I can tug at your heartstrings and connect with how you feel about something, then at that point, what really happened is of no consequence, because you're so emotional behind what's going on, you can't even talk about what actually happened. You're still responding and not focusing or talking about what happened, which is what happened last night. That's why it was unproductive. But the heartstrings are important if you need an energy that's going to be able to make sure that you see through when the going gets tough. It gets hard to deal with. The masses are against you, because don't forget, they're dumb. When they're against you, you still have the energy to see through what you are trying to accomplish. But notice, your intellect is not involved. It's all emotion. And either one is just as good as the other if you're trying to corral a group of people to do something or react in a certain way. Either or will do. One is not better than the other. It is simply a method of controlling the human response. If I can get you emotionally, cool, I'll take it. They're taking our jobs. The Mexicans are taking over. The blacks are going to rape all our white women. The gays are going to turn everybody gay. Emotional response. That has the equal amount of bearing if I say, hey, look, my whole issue is I believe that if we're going to talk about human reproduction, then maybe being homosexual in a certain time period prior to technology, because now you can, just you can get some, implant the egg in the woman and she have a baby and fertilize the egg and all of that. Artificial insemination, no problem. Like technology plays to certain groups. I'm not saying that group is good or bad. I'm talking about technology's ability to get across the point that they want to get. But there was a time where technology was readily available. So homosexuality would have worked against your idea of propagating a species that's new on the earth. When we're talking about maybe 2 million years ago, it wouldn't work for us. But now technology's caught up, that becomes a little consequence. See what I mean? But when you say, hey man, we're gonna die out as a species, you're making a logical argument now, because propagation of the species should be primary. Right? Okay. Notice how I appealed to 2 different modes of your reasoning. One is an emotional intelligence, one is a logical intelligence. One is not better than the other. I'm only pointing out they're just how we get to where we want. Why am I sitting up here taking this time? I don't know how long I've been. I've probably been longer than expected, but I see it's 9 of us, and thank you all. Before I go any further, hey man, it just started out with me and Brother Lois. And I see it's 9 people in here, and you all could be doing something different. Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in, whatever point you joined us, and I really am humbled. Thank you so much. I just had to talk about this, not for self-aggrandizement, but we have been missing a point for the last two weeks that I think would serve us well. Thank you for tuning in. Both of those methods of appeal to the human mind are equal important. The reason I'm bringing this up is because they're still doing it. The point that I was trying to make last night when I said, hey man, I just left England, I got to America, and this black dude running for president is saying that healthcare should be socialized. I knew you was lying because I just left a place where healthcare was socialized and dying. And if you were looking at the model that you're mimicking, the model behind, not the one as Brother Rick said last night in Germany. I don't know how it works in Germany. Good. I don't know what your population is. I don't know what your mean income is. I ain't concerned about Germany healthcare because I'm not from there. And that's not the model that America defaults to. They looked at the NHS system. And that's what I'm talking about because I just got off a plane from the NHS system from living over there. And they said, hey man, this shit ain't worth it. And they have a state, that their whole country's about the size of Georgia, maybe the population also. And they're saying, hey man, this socialist stuff, what y'all trying to leave in America, we trying to go to. We would pay the extra money to have a private doctor rather than pay the extra money in taxes to fund this social healthcare system. We got way more people. It was only a matter of time before we got right back to where we were. Okay. I knew he was lying, but I also knew what he was doing. We're 300 million Americans at that time, 311, I think, to be exact. I ain't trying to logically appeal to the masses because it's not enough of you. But I can appeal to. All of us need health care. That's true. And all of us that can that make up most of the American population, like the brother said last night, the 1 to 3% that the Constitution is talking about, you got 97% that are have-nots. But that's who he's speaking to. Even if they're middle class, notice how, hey, if you make $250,000 more, you qualify for this income or this subsidy or this benefit. Now, every single person in here right now, is 10 watching. Every single one of you, let me ask you a question. Do you make $250,000 a year? Please don't be crazy right now. Don't do the crazy shit. You know, I claim it, and whatever. That's no. Do you make $250,000 a year? Because if you don't, this benefit applies to you. Now, wait a minute. Let me talk to the people out there for a minute before I could keep going. $250,000 a year, you get a certain tax break. How many of you, ask yourselves this, you don't have to put it on the board, that's fine. You're good, my brother, Black Hands, you're good. How many of you have had $250,000 at any point in time in your life? I don't want to hear your drug stories. I really don't. How many of you, it took most of you about 10 years to make $250,000. If you've made $250,000 and you may be about, I don't know, maybe mid-30s, and you hitting about cumulatively about maybe 170 something, 160 something $1,000. You ain't seen $250,000. But to go to show you how many members are in America and how many of us are poor in America, the cutoff limit is $250,000 or less. Look at how they see a person making more money than you've seen in your life to today, cumulatively, $250,000. When you read the paperwork, don't lie. If you make $250,000, check this box. You don't qualify. The first thing that hit your head was, damn, who making $250,000 having to use this? That's my point. That's how many there are. Look at where you live. I'm trying to orient you to where you live and what they're doing to us. So now that we've established that that's most of the dumb people, that's who Barack Obama was talking to. That's who Donald Trump was talking to. Donald Trump started out, hey man, he was zero. He was last place. They was making jokes about him. As a matter of fact, go check out. He was even on Saturday Night Live with him making fun of Drake. You know, doing Drake's song, you know, Hotline Click or whatever, because he was trying to boost public opinion. It's not that he's really into Drake or whatever, or he's really that funny. This man here is following a plan, and he went from being the laughing stock of the Republican or Conservative Party to being president. By the way, on a side note, did y'all know, and I saw this with my own eyes, I'd love to tell you about it. Call in. Hey man, if you can put my number up here. I'd love to tell you, but I'd love to talk to you if you have something you want to say. If I'm full of shit, tell me. If I'm making sense, tell me. If you would like, me to talk more about something specifically, tell me. 346-253. We're here to serve. 5348. And if you don't want to call in at all and just watch it, man, I appreciate your attendance. Thank you so much. I'm really appreciative to all of you. I'm on a mission. Donald Trump was last. He went to first. Donald Trump was a businessman. No political experience. Thank you, my sister. Oh my God, here's my sister. I'm going to have to talk to me, Tiff. I got you, Tiff.
Hey, did you get the email?
Love, I'm live right now.
Oh shit, it's up to 8.
I know it's sweet. I guess I've been going. I hadn't been keeping the time, but I got to let you go, my love.
Bye.
Bye. All right. What up, sister Tiff? Big ups. So, he goes from that to this. that's because he knew something. It's not that he knew what most people think, that people are getting assassinated or sacrificed and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like y'all know the talk out there on social media. I ain't gonna even dignify with that with more time. But you know what it is. Show you how easily manipulated we are, man. On the real, like this man here dumbed down his communications with the masses. He says the first thing he did was he says, "I'm here for the forgotten man." Now, wait a minute. I want you to hold that in this hand here. In the other hand, here we go. Obama is speaking not to black people, not to white people, not to individuals that are homosexual, not to rich or not to poor. You know who he's talking to? Healthcare. And he's saying, hey man, right now amongst all of y'all, healthcare is the issue. I'm gonna speak to you. He became president twice. First time because of healthcare. Second time, he killed Obama. I'm sorry, he killed Osama bin Laden and some other stuff. He was on life support, but he still made it. God bless him. We respect you, President. But then, just the opposite came into play. Donald Trump. Now, wait a minute. Did we just have a change of heart overnight? Is that what happened in America? That's what you're thinking. We went from having a black man as president of the country that was built off of the commerce of slavery to being president to now we're going on record with this former boxing promoter, hotel, entrepreneur, real estate, whatever. But he talking to us. The forgotten man. If you ever did drugs in your life, and I haven't, in terms of like injectables, there are certain veins that if you really want to like get a real good high, you can mainline like heroin and crack, or cocaine rather, and you're probably gonna die. But if you don't, it'll be the best high of your life from what I ain't gonna even say been told, but from what I've seen. But it comes at a risk. But the reason why the high is so good is because you are connecting directly with the central nervous system. Donald Trump, just like Barack Obama, was tapping into the central nervous system. That's what happened. And the central nervous system is, if you want to do anything in life, especially in America, appeal to the poor people. And what's the first thing he did? The forgotten man, the forgotten man, the forgotten man. Why? Because I just told you most of the public are dumb. If you want to grapple with that reality, hey man, don't fight me. Call your local senator. I don't care. Just don't call me. Because we only got world history to look after to make my point. But if you got some new information, that's your business. I don't want to hear it. Because I got a whole lot of history, civilization, I should say rather. Not history, but civilization behind me to show you, hey man, appeal to the common man. Keep him placated. Keep him satisfied. You have anything you want. That's what's been done to you. And it comes by out of the peripheral nervous system. See, if I can just appeal to the dumb man, if I can appeal to the man that, man, all I do is I go to work, I come home, I have sex with my wife, I feed my, I bring my wife the money and she feed the kids or whatever, and that's what it is. And from the day I live to the day I die, I ain't going to no college or whatever. I'm trying to make sure that, my house is taken care of and they don't take my guns away. Just appeal to that. And you would be amazed at the people that will respond to you. And you would be amazed not because it's not a human possibility. You would be amazed and probably go into denial because you didn't know it was that many dumb Americans. Or rather, that many basic Americans. where they're not even going up Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. They're like, hey man, my woman, my gun, my food, my kids, I'm done. Nation. God bless America. Get it. What? That's how they go. That's all they care about. And Donald Trump was able to tap into that vein. Just like Obama was able to tap into that vein because, by the way, the same number of black people that lived during Trump's first presidency, thank you, brother. Same number of black people or Hispanics or Asians or whatever's minority that lived during Trump's time, too many of them weren't not alive during Obama's time. You just had people that just switched. It don't make them more racist. It doesn't make them less racist. It doesn't make them more homophobic. It doesn't make them less homophobic. What it is he tapped into that vein through peripheral persuasion. Let me put it another way. 10 of us still watching. Damn, 10 holding tight. Thank you so much. Love all y'all. Thank you. Show you another way of how important it is and how serious it is. Here's another way of explaining peripheral persuasion. That's why you like LeBron James. That's why you like Michael Jordan. That's why LeBron James and Michael Jordan may have shoes. That's why LeBron James, or let's talk about Michael Jordan. That's why Michael Jordan has Air Jordan brand underneath Nike. Because if I can associate a public influential figure to whatever I'm trying to sell, they'll stop looking at what I'm trying to sell and start looking at the icon, the individual. And whatever this icon says, that's what it is. I'm a Chicago Bulls fan today to the day I die. What, Michael Jordan got some new Chicago Bulls shoes out? Bam, want them, thank you. Oh, Michael Jordan played for the Bulls. He got Air Jordan. What? He got the new sweater out? Bam, thank you. I'm wearing a Nike sweater right now. This is the same. Take Nike off. Get somebody to go down MLK Boulevard. Find enough sheep they can get enough cotton from. They can make the same thing. But this is not the same thing because they gonna sell their MLK Boulevard sweater for $5. This going for $35. Why? Not because cotton is cotton, but this got Nike. They're doing the same thing with your thinking. They're doing the same exact way with your thinking. And everything I've been telling you prior to this point, I've been telling you that I'm telling you how they're doing that to your thinking. Because, oh man, I got 20%, I'm gonna have to shut this down. They're doing this to your thinking because if I can associate a public desired figure with something, they will stop looking at something and focus on the person that they're idolizing. If they focus on the person that they're idolizing, man, we could be selling them Michael Jordan shoes, but everybody's feet falling off after about the first 50 dunks. We ain't tripping. We didn't make my money anyway. By the time they bring it to bring up a problem, that's how they sell it to you. Okay, cool. You like Obama. Why? Because he's a black president. But if you looked at what Obama really stood for, that's the first thing you should have been voting against. And I'm not talking about what he did for, the different communities, the LGBTQ and all that. And you all know I don't agree with that, but I respect their right to have a position and I defend them. They are our brothers and sisters. Make no mistake about it. But I don't agree. But notice how they start attaching a movement with a figure, a person. Now they've gotten so well, they attach it to an ideology. That's why you're starting to hear things like woke. Because now we don't care about the person. You can discredit the man, you can discredit the woman, but if we can attach the ideology to something like that's what people want, that's what they believe in, that's whatever, now it takes a momentum of itself. That's how you're being used, my brothers and sisters. Trust me, there are many things I could be doing right now, but I thought this was important enough to bring to your attention because they're influencing you in ways that you're just not educated to know. and you're not educated to know, because it's not that you don't want to be smart. The problem is you think you are. You think you are. And you think you are because you've been going along with the masses. You think you are because it has returned certain benefits to you in your life. And so now you kind of become a whore. You're like, this is mine. This is what I was able to do and accomplish or whatever. And in my way of thinking, whatever, that's cool. But you're still part of a plan. And I'm not trying to be, and I'm going to tie this up, I promise. I'm not trying to be paranoid. What I'm saying to you is just like AI has mimicked human language. It has mimicked human linguistics, where if you talk to someone that talks to an AI in one way or another, willing or unwilling, or unknowing, or knowingly, after a time they'll be able to mimic that individual, where when that individual starts talking, especially through digital media, you wouldn't be able to tell them from the platform or from the AI. I'm having this conversation with you because we're easily gullible. I don't care whether you vote for Trump. I don't care whether you vote for Obama. Thought Obama was a good president. I don't care. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm really this secure. I really don't care whether you are gay, straight, male, female, rich, poor. I am a part of this platform because I just want you to know the truth, or at least be on the route to knowing the truth. And do I know the full truth? No, I don't. But I think I think I'm in a good direction. And I think that if you are as equally concerned about what truth is, I think you would find us speaking as equals, rather than I can learn a lot from him, I can learn a lot from her, because we're both tapped into the vein of truth. That's our commonality. You can be influenced peripherally by being influenced where this celebrity drinks Snapple, so I'm gonna drink Snapple. You can be influenced by this makes logical sense to what I believe because I went to school and now I'm smart. But there's a third thing that I didn't mention. You can be influenced by either one of the two, and I see we're down to 8, and they missed the part. You can be influenced by the central or the peripheral, but here's the killing part. There's something that occurs in the human spirit called cognitive dissonance. Let me tell you what cognitive dissonance is. I'm making it real simple. Man, I've been in the gym for the last month and a half. Been eating lean, eating clean, getting better, getting stronger. But I just want to go to Timmy Chan's. I want to go to Popeyes. I just want to just break into it. You have this feeling, but you've been vegetarian, exercising every day, treating yourself with better respect, not drinking alcohol, putting foreign things into your body, just you living clean. You know that's the way. You know it. But all of a sudden you see yourself eating a piece of fried meat. And after you eat it, it's not that you feel better. You feel like, oh man, why did I do it? It's because of cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is when there's a threat. I see myself as this, but I want to do this. If I was in the Baptist church, when I want to do right, evil is always present with me. I know what I should do. That broccoli, the stuff that gives us life. I gotta have it to me chance 6-piece rice and gravy. Nigga, hook me up. And when you're trying to figure out who am I, and you're having these conflicting emotions, you have cognitive dissonance. When you have a thought like, hey man, I know I told everybody at work I was going to, go to work every single day, but I feel like going to work today. We all said it was going to make the 90-day, short to work day, but it's day 56. I feel like going, man. I just got to doing this boring podcast and hardly anybody watching. I got to go to work the next morning or whatever. Oh my God, man. And I don't feel like going to work today. I just want to lay in bed. Just F it. Cognitive dissonance. You're feeling guilty because there's some higher goal, whatever that is, that you are identifying with, but you got these other distractions where it's like, I want you, I'm gonna have you. And in between the two, you know what's at stake? Your identity. So that's why you feel guilty when you do things that are against what you would normally do, or what you should do, or what the ideal is. Because you're identifying with something higher, but you're responding to something lower. That's what Hitler played on. There's no way that any individual or any group of people, unless again you're in simple times like slavery, where anyone would just sign off on killing the number of Jews that they killed in throughout the German Empire and wherever they spread. That's where they continue to commit those atrocities. I refuse to believe that a group of people that happen to be the same race really all bought into slavery because they're innately evil. Evil what you done, but innately evil I disagree with. Because there were 4 black Caesars that ruled Rome. History lesson. You're welcome. So when Trump starts running for president, he told the Jews, he went to the Anti-Defamation League, I'll need your money. Because the money was going to buy his ability to move the embassy from Jerusalem to Tel Aviv, which is putting a stamp on it saying, this is the capital. Because most of us have not learned that Jerusalem, in larger part, was controlled by the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims. It was split into 3s. And it was never a problem until the invasion of Palestine. But that's a whole nother subject. But if you're a Jew and you live in Palestine and you're watching this, you have an emotional reaction. Please stop. I never said that that's not what happened. I never said you was a bad person. I only said, hey man, what you did, I saw that before in history. That's not good, because there are some people all throughout North America that land belongs to indigenous people. And my brother Lopes can speak to that. My family can speak to that on my mother's side. History, they say, is written by the victors. I would hope that as we've been talking about this, that at some point in time, anything that I said made sense, and you're able to be a free thinker. And I'm not advocating that you be against Jews nor be for them. That's not what I'm advocating. I am not saying that white people are the devil just because of slavery, because there was a lot of white people. John Brown was the first white man to become an abolitionist. A white man. Dedicated his life to abolition of slavery, lost his life because of the abolition of slavery. I think we are all God's children. I do. And I really do appreciate all of you from sticking with me during this moment to have this conversation, because this is the conversation I wanted us to have in the midst of us arguing, because I wanted the people that aren't as smart as the more informed individuals that was on the show to know, hey man, we want you to know what you've been subject to. That was the whole point. That's why we do this show. Because not that everything we say is right, not that everything we say is even true. Sometimes we throw facts out that ain't right, but you know what's one thing about us, and I mean this, our heart is in the right place. It's for you to be a better thinker, a more critical thinker, a better human being, a more feeling human being, a more compassionate human being. So I'm gonna let y'all go. I appreciate y'all show tonight. Thank y'all for sticking with me. Y'all have a good night. I hope you all learned something because I do appreciate your time. You've given me. God bless you. Have a good night.